Welcome back to another episode of the Becoming Relentless podcast. I'm your host, Noa McCabe, and I am joined by my lovely co-host,
Danielle Kusenberger, and we are team healing coaches and very good posing coaches.
Very good posing coaches.
Very good posing coaches and regular coaches.
And good coaches. Yeah, good coaches.
We're great. It's funny. Today, we're going to dive into prep versus off-season mindset.
Yes. We touched on this a little bit in our last podcast and throughout this whole podcast journey. I feel like we've addressed it here and there, but today we're really going to dive into the differences, the similarities, what you guys need to know about off-season mindset and prep mindset.
Mm-hmm.
All right, kick us off.
The biggest thing for me in my two preps, in my past preps was towards food. But I would say there's two major things with athletes, and it's their food component and the life experience component. And those two are the biggest. They kind of work together because as humans, events are always surrounded by food or at bars or at drinking or it's always somewhere. And usually there's food around. So for me in the off season, not kind of the reverse, you should hit your stuff. In the off season, I think having intuitive eating days is very beneficial and free meals. I used to not be this way not think that way. That was before I was coaching though. When I first started into fitness and I was just 100% 24/7, it was to the point of the fact there was hindering my mental progress, which was hindering my physical progress as well. I believe there's a strong component towards having some freedom in the off season to allow your mental to grow, to also allow your physical to grow.
Right. As a newer athlete, I struggled with the same thing. So I was very all in 100% from my first prep to my second prep. I would say there was just a lot of restriction happening in between off season. I was still weighing everything, tracking everything. I wouldn't really go out with friends because I was I can't track. So I'm just not going to go. And it became too restrictive. I think it could have caused burnout if I didn't realize it when I did. And even moving here, honestly, that's still something I struggle with even to this day sometimes, which it's just that thought in the back of my head of oh, well, I can't go out or I shouldn't go out because it goes against my goals. But being around you guys and also our Wednesday dinners have helped me a ton with that mindset of realizing there's a time and a place of being it just depends. What phase are you in? Live in each phase instead of living for the future or living in the past.
I agree.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I agree. Like you said, too, when you're in a prep setting, it's definitely, you flip the trigger in your mind. If you're athletes like us, we rather be 100% with our rice than be 5 grams over. In an off-season phase, those 5 grams you don't matter as much than they do in prep, obviously, because mostly in a mental component. You think about those 5 grams that you were over all week. And then your check-in comes and you're just, so we just obsess over the little things, which is why we're high-level athletes.
Right.
I know for myself, and I believe for most athletes, going out of a prep is when the mindset and mental barriers with food start to happen. A lot of athletes don't want to follow a reverse plan because of the limiting factors of enjoying life. And it's also very hard when there's no set goal date. That's oftentimes what we hear, which I agree. I'm interested in, because I know that you've been able to hit your plan reverse wise very well. I know that I'm about to, whenever that happens in 20 weeks, I will hit it very well because for one, I'll be a pro, for two, because my mind's I'm just more mature towards it. I care about my goals more than I care about everything I used to care about. Fitting in, I guess, finding my clique, finding my group. You have experience hitting your reverse to a T. So what are the biggest things that you've tool-wise used throughout your reverse?
So the biggest thing for reversing is I learned the science behind why I was feeling what I was feeling, and then reminding myself that just because I'm feeling very strongly a certain way in this moment right now doesn't mean that I have to cave just because there's no show date. So for me, like as a competitor, I will say, like I'll admit it, I am very driven with a show date. So when there's a show date, I'm able to, that's how one of the ways I'm able to really be 100% on my plan. And then after that, with the reverse, I'll set like mental dates for myself in terms of like, maybe I'll schedule a photo shoot, or maybe I'll say, if I'm 100% on for the next 6 weeks, like at the end of that 6 weeks, I'll go out to dinner with my friends or my family or Zach or whatever. Like I'll have a date again, because I am very like time driven as well. I just know that that's one of the ways it motivates me. But throughout like my experience as a competitor, I do feel like when I first started competing, the reverse was really difficult because I didn't understand why I felt the way that I did. Like I was like, man, why am I so hungry? Why do I never feel full? I don't get it. So I just ate and ate and ate. But as I've matured as a competitor, I've realized, okay, ghrelin, leptin, those hunger hormones are all out of whack. Like that's why I'm continuously feeling like empty. And then also realizing that through trial and error, so like I did it, like I overate and I would feel so shitty. And I never want to feel that way again. I would literally eat until I would get sick. And I hated that feeling. Like, but I didn't understand why it was happening. Now I understand why it's happening. And I also understand I don't want to feel that way again. So when I come off a show and I'm reversing, I might be tempted to overeat, or I might be tempted to go off plan. But I just remember like how crappy I felt eating all that food or eating off plan, that I'm like, I don't want to do that to myself. So I just hit it. And the other thing too is like, as you mature as a competitor, you realize the things that used to tempt you, like cookies, brownies, cheesecake, all that stuff, one, it's always going to be there. So you don't have to rush to the store, or you don't have to eat it all at once. But like two, if you fuel your body with fruits and vegetables and fresh whole foods, nutritious foods, like not processed, not packaged, you're just going to feel better. And that like compounds over time. So like, in my reverse, if I'm feeling extra hungry, I'll have an apple, or I'll have berries. I'll have carrots or something, like bell peppers, like something that will like fuel me up, or like I'm hungry for. And so I have a little bit extra, but it's whole food. It's fresh fruit. It's fresh veggies. It's not a big cookie.
One thing that I used to do too, cherry tomatoes are very good for that. Carrots as well. And it's too, also coming out of a prep, when you're going into reverse, some of y'all are like, carrots, dude, seriously, out of all things, you're going to choose carrots. You understand, like in a prep phase, especially peak week, their last 4 weeks, you're having rice, chicken, you're having coconut oil, like you're having berries, but you're not having anything. The variety of vegetables. So a cherry tomato is going to taste like freaking delish, you know?
That's actually kind of one of my favorite parts. Like low key, like you the last 4 weeks of
food
prep,
tastes so different.
You're eating like the same 4 foods over and over and over again, that like post show, if you're smart about it, fruit will taste like candy, because your taste buds have literally changed.
Yeah, Ross, and this is a good way. If you're like, I don't really like fruit, get some fruit, put stevia on it. And that definitely changes the flavor too, and it's very good.
I'm a Splenda girl. I like
Splenda.
Yeah, okay, I love Splenda.
Use whatever.
I feel like use whatever sweetener you love.
That's funny.
But like, put on your fruit in like a Tupperware or a bag and like shake it up. Oh, it tastes so good. Yeah,
cinnamon.
Also, who doesn't like fruit? Sorry, but like,
I know a lot of people that don't. Just kidding. I know like 3.
That's crazy to me. I don't know.
Dude,
I love fruit.
I think it's a mental. Y'all are gonna. This is just,
we're always like, it's a mental thing.
I think. Well, how do you not like fruit?
That's what I don't get it. There's
so
many fruit.
It's not like it's just apples.
That's what I'm saying.
Like there's millions. You don't like one.
Mango, peaches, apricot, plums,
like strawberry
grapes.
Tastes nothing like an apple. And it tastes nothing like banana.
Berries
or
bananas.
Mango.
Yeah, kiwis, grapes. Dude, there's so many fruits.
Keep going. What else is there? Just
oranges, clementines. Yeah, I'm like, A through Z, fruits, ready to go.
That's funny.
I feel like there's so many. And that's a tangent, but I'm like, there's got to be a fruit out there that you love.
Yes. But Hunger Cues is big. I do believe.
The Hunger Cues, yeah.
the longer you go competing, the easier it is to understand and listen to your hunger cues.
Yes.
So that's something also I'm very excited about because listening to them, I used to, when I first started competing like you, I was like, dude, I'm losing muscle because I'm so hungry. That's not happening. Now it is happening if your diet's completely like very, very bad, like very under. This is why you hire a good high level coach. But if you have a high level coach, they're not going to starve you.
Yeah. And you won't lose muscle if you're training hard. So train hard. Off season and prep, train hard. Like seriously, across the board.
Yes. So I wanted to dive into two things.
Yeah.
Let's do this one first. I have a little rant, and I ranted to you about it earlier. We went to coffee to plan our life goals, per se. And the rant is about hitting, if you can't hear protocols because you're not motivated, why do you think you should prep? And this is like a serious question because it's almost like a what the fuck are you thinking kind of question. I don't care if it's next year that you're prepping. You can't hit your protocols right now because you're not motivated. You think next year you're going to be able to prep? Dude, you're, no offense, DUMB if you think that's correct. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm trying to be truthful. I'm trying to be straight up because things get harder in prep. And I'm not saying just your protocols. I'm saying your mental energy. If you can't be disciplined enough right now to say, I'm going to go to the gym, or to say, I'm not going to eat an extra rice cake, I promise you, you will never be disciplined in a prep setting to say this, like to limit yourself and be disciplined to go to the gym and not overeat. I don't get it. I just don't understand. Do you get it?
I think people don't practice it enough. So when you're in your off season and your coach gives you a free meal, how you handle that, I think, translates to your prep. Because if you go out and you order a large pizza and wings and beer, and that's your free meal, we're nowhere near
buffet.
We're nowhere near ready for a contest prep. But practicing, going out and eating, making smart choices is going to carry over into your prep, because people don't practice going out on prep and saying no. So they're either like us, where they're like, or how we used to, they're like how we used to be, where they'll go out, they won't go out because they can't track it. Or they'll be like us now, if they've practiced it enough, if they've intuitive ate like during their off season and they've practiced living the lifestyle and they're truly an athlete with the athlete mindset, on prep, they'll be able to go out and sit there comfortably with a diet soda or with a water and just hang out with their friends. Like when people, it makes me really upset, honestly. It's one of my triggers when like, if I'm on prep and I go out and I'm sitting with y'all at a table and they're like, oh, I feel bad because you can't eat, or like, oh, like you don't want to order anything, like you don't feel bad. And I'm like, no, I'm choosing this. Like I am choosing to be here with y'all, spend my energy. I don't need pressure to order something I don't want to eat, or pressure that somehow y'all feel guilty because you're eating in front of me. Like I'm choosing to contest prep. This is my goal. Just like, let's just spend time together. Like, I don't understand why everything in life is about food or is about making it about food. Like, I can spend time with y'all on prep and not eat. Like, I'm okay. I promise. And I'm choosing it.
I agree.
But I think most people don't choose it. They don't want to choose it, or it's a mental thing. I don't know.
They don't want to choose it.
They don't want to choose it.
They don't want to go through the mental challenge of feeling uncomfortable to choose it. I truly believe that. I think just like I said last podcast, being uncomfortable is a challenge, and a lot of people don't want to do that. They rather feel sorry for themselves in the moment or miss out on things and then feel sorry themselves because they missed out because they couldn't get uncomfortable and challenge themselves in that way.
Yeah. Like when people post about like, oh, I sacrificed, I missed birthdays and holidays and this and that. Like,
I hate that shit. Oh my God.
Dude, competing's a choice. Like you're choosing it.
I hate that shit.
Do you know how many times I have chosen to not eat Thanksgiving dinner with my family? I chose it. I didn't post and complain. I didn't go to Justin.
Guess what?
And
When we miss out on Thanksgiving dinner too, we also are only getting like the smallest meals because we're literally around 4 weeks out during that time. Actually, we're usually around 2 to 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out, around there. So I'm just saying, I hate people complain about how they missed out on things. Like, dude, are you serious? You're such a weak competitor.
That's a prep mindset.
And I will say that to your face.
Yeah, I really hate that. Like, if you're on prep, if you're choosing to compete and you're on prep and it's somebody's birthday, get their birthday's next year too, homie. Like, take your meals or eat before. Go and then go. You know what I mean?
You feel
like,
sorry for yourself for there? I'm gonna beat you on stage, dude.
The prep mindset is you have to be all in. You really do. There's no other option, and there's no wiggle room. I get so frustrated because people have these self-limiting beliefs, or they place them on themselves, saying, "Well, I can't prep through Halloween, or I can't prep through my birthday." Like, homie. I've prepped through my birthday several times. I didn't die. Yeah. It's like, come on. It's just a birthday.
If it's that big of a deal, celebrate your birthday a week after you win. Like, what?
I guess I don't understand why you would want to compete, but then you know what it is? I just had a light bulb. It's a balance thing. They want balance. There's no balance.
Any athlete that I've seen preach balance in a prep is an athlete that's on the sidelines.
Well, they step on stage and they're not ready. I was so balanced this prep. And then I look at their stage shots. I'm like, yeah, you had 10 more pounds to lose.
Dude,
of course you were balanced. You didn't actually do it.
And then they're eating their cookie and
you didn't sacrifice
it. Like, oh, my fucking double stuffed Oreo chocolate chip muffin cookie came in. Like, dude, you ate 3 of those in your prep, didn't you? Because you look like it. Oh my gosh.
I guess it's so hard. Like, so off-season mindset versus prep mindset. Prep mindset is all in. Off-season mindset, you're still all in on your goals, but that is the time that you find the balance that works for you, not balance according to society. Your balance.
So I was watching or reading, I don't remember, I was doing one of the two, this thing about balance, right? And everyone, because society preaches this most of the time, thinks that balance is this even 50-50 line all the time. Prep, off-season, 50-50. When in reality, our balance and like most high-level competitor balance is having an all-in mindset here, some balance here, being prep and off-season. That's our balance. And that's how we succeed. So it's not like 50-50 all the time.
No. I would say when I'm in contest prep, I structure my life around that goal.
Mm-hmm. It should be that way. That's how you win. Mm-hmm. But it's just like you see on those. This is something around on IG all the time. Listen to this guy give the 50-50 rule on relationships. You see that all the time?
Yeah.
And it's like the 50-50 rule is meaning like both partners give equal effort all the time, which is so impossible to do. One partner is going to have to give more at some time, and the other is going to have to get more sometime. Think about this: your wife's going through pregnancy. She's in the bed for a week, dude. She's not giving you 50%. She's probably going to give you 10 because she's literally giving birth, right? So like you're going to give that 90, and that's totally okay.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with like the prep.
I don't understand why you would want balance in a contest prep setting.
Because, yeah.
Right? In a contest prep, ideally, you have a show date in mind. You have your target show date. You have 20 weeks to make that show date.
That's not a lot of time.
It sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot of time.
Yesterday, what's today, Wednesday? I checked in today. I'm 19 weeks out. I'm nervous as crap. That's like tomorrow, bro. That's literally tomorrow.
It's quick.
It's so fast.
You can't go into it thinking like, oh, I need to achieve balance during
this time. When I'm 10 weeks out, I'm going to go all in. No, right. You should have gone all in 10 weeks ago.
Everything is all in. I guess the way that I view life is that it's not a marathon. If you want to win, it's a sprint every day. It's an all-out sprint every day. But guess what? You get conditioned to that. Like at first, yeah, it might be hard. And like I am in a phase right now where it's really hard. I'm in a new environment. I'm establishing a new routine. I have like different pressures, but I'm adapting to it because I'm continuing to move forward. Like I'm not sitting back and being like, well, how can I achieve balance now that I live downtown? Like living downtown was a goal of mine, a big goal 6 months ago. I just achieved it. It felt great. I've celebrated it, but also like, how am I going to sustain living here? How am I going to level up now that I'm here? Like it's not, and so same thing needs to be applied to your prep. Like you might be in a groove with your prep. How can you get better?
And the thing about this too is athletes who are listening to this, especially athletes who are under us, when we give you the green light to prep, that is a win within itself. You don't get to give yourself the green light because we're going to make sure you win. And if you don't get a green light from us, it's because you can't win. You're not going to win. And so earning that green light means you've done the work in the off season. You've done the work mentally. You've done the work of being unmotivated and showing up every single day and still doing it. That's how you earn the green light. It brings me to the next topic that I have on here. Athletes who constantly message you for motivation. How do you deal with that? What is your mindset towards that? What do you do?
When I first started out coaching, I would tolerate it. I would respond. I would encourage it, I guess. And not encourage it as like, message me anytime, all the time with all your issues. But I would encourage it through my responses and my actions as I've progressed as a coach, and also as I've gotten deeper into this year's prep. I've become very careful with my boundaries and my responses. So if I feel an athlete's overreaching and they're trying to be too friendly or they're messaging me constantly asking for motivation, I just won't give it. I really won't. I'll be like, sorry, I can't.
See, this is a strong coach. That's the coach that I would like to be coached by. And that's exactly what with Justin, because Justin, the last time Justin gave me a compliment was never. I'm serious. Like, we never get your glutes look really good here. You never get like a good work this past week. You really killed it message. Stay motivated. XYZ. You get the changes to your protocols and you move on. Athletes that are under us, as we get into prep, obviously, like we have less energy mentally to give into BS. So we're going to give you straight up. You need to hit this goal. You might have had a hard day. You may have had, maybe today is super like hard on you, long day. You're not motivated at all. Message us. We're also going to tell you straight up at the end of the day, it's your choice. We're not going to babysit you. We're not going to hold your hand. We are going to be there for you. But within responses, it's so much straightforward.
There's definitely a difference between babysitting, like, and holding your hand through the process and then supporting you. Because obviously, I support you. I want to see you win. I've given you the plan. I've given you the protocols. It's your job to hit them and to meet them. So when you check in week after week, honestly, the best response you could get from me is no changes.
Dude.
Keep going. Because if you're working the plan and you're seeing changes every week, why would I change the plan? You're working it. You're doing it. Let's keep that momentum. Let's keep killing it. So the best response that you could hear from me is no changes needed. Keep going. See you next Saturday. Like, we're good, homie. You're doing the work. That's the response you should want. If you're getting like paragraphs from me, it's probably because there's something within your plan that you're not hitting, and I'm trying to educate you. But man, you're going to get a little bit of that, like, here's some education. Here's what I need from you. Let's do X, Y, and Z. Dude, I'm not doing that for you every week. Like, at a certain point, you have to pick up the slack. Like, I've given you the tools. I've given you the knowledge. There's going to be a week where I'm just going to be like, you're not following plan. I'm not making changes.
There's some
follow the plan.
I have some athletes that have messaged me. I'll respond to just send check-in. I'll respond either no changes or XYZ protocol changes, cardio, like simple. Simple as can be. They message back, how do you think I look? Do you think I look okay? Am I progressing fast enough? If you're asking me this, number one, you're not hitting your shit as hard as you can go. Number two, you could be pushing harder in training. Number three, we should see changes week to week. And if we're not, it's because it's something that you're doing, to be honest, because I know my protocols will work if you hit them to a T. That's partly based off what we said on last podcast. We protocol things for the plan because we know if you hit this, you're going to see results.
Yeah. And I think we've touched on that before as well. If they're asking for the affirmation, it's probably because they know that they're slacking somewhere else. So they want us to tell them, no, you're fine.
And if we ask you back 1 to 10, 10 being highest, how much effort and how hard and how much adherence did you hit to the plan? We're asking you that because we know for a fact it wasn't a 10 out of 10. If we have to ask you that question, there's something on your end that you need to reflect on. Now, we're not mad. We're never scolding. We're your coach. We're going to coach you to success, even if you feel like, even if you're not doing your part 100%, we're going to do our part 100%. But if you get that question, we already know what's up.
Yeah. And I think probably a lot of our athletes right now are in that off season. And so they maybe haven't seen the side of me where I'm like, yo, you need to be better. Because a lot of them in this off season, they're learning how to be athletes. But next year, so I have a ton, which I'm super excited for, and I love them. But I have a ton of them that are in off season right now or improvement season, and we're just growing. We're trying to nail down the basics, essentially, the foundation. Like, are you training hard? Train harder.
What is that training hard?
Are you hitting your meal plan? Yeah. Are you tracking everything to a T, or are we having licks and bites and snacks that are off plan? Are we going out with our significant other and I'm seeing it on your Instagram story? Like, I see it all. Are you doing the exercises I programmed you, or are you posting something on your Instagram doing an exercise that I didn't give you?
Dude, you know what the worst is when they post the exercise with them doing it. It's not even on their plan, but they tag you. They tag me in the exercise I didn't protocol. And I'm like, you just ratted yourself out. Wait, what?
Like, what plan are you doing? Because it ain't my plan.
Yeah. How many coaches did you pay for this?
It's so funny. Yeah. It's just, I see that all the time. And we don't repost that.
Nah, dude, if you don't get a repost, it's because we could be better. So
it's because we know.
Yeah.
In this off season, we are building you up. And I'm kind of seeing with my athletes who is mentally preparing for the prep, right? Like, off-season mindset, yes, I want you to be a human. I'll give you intuitive eating days when you're ready. Maybe you're on flexible macros. Maybe I do that thing where, hey, meal 3, take it out, have an 800 to 1,000 calorie free meal. I'll give you the guidelines. Like, I'm not telling you be 100% on in your off-season, but I am. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, I will give you the flexibility when I see that you're ready for it, when I know that you're ready for it. But if you're not hitting 100% in your off season, why on earth do you think I would do a prep with you?
And if you don't like that response, don't hire us, don't hire a high level coach, and don't hire someone that's going to give you results, because that's all we do.
Well, that's the thing is, like, you're paying us to get you results, but then you're not doing what the plan that we give you that would give you the results. It's very interesting. So I guess with our off-season versus prep mindset, like you mentioned earlier, you flip the switch. What does that look like for you?
Flipping the switch?
Mm-hmm.
Usually I think most athletes know. You know when the prep's coming. It's not like you wake up one day with a text saying, prep starts tomorrow. Like, you know, you have to talk with your coach. I create routine going into the prep and before the prep. So I know that this last 4 weeks before my prep is basically like my prep. Routine's very big. Also, a big thing that we talked about earlier is draw a circle. In the circle, you put everything that's going to push you forward towards the goal. Everything outside the circle, whether that's person, whether that's timing, whether that's bad sleep, whether that's drinks, leave it in the past and leave it for your future in the off season. There's some people outside my circle, which I don't really talk to anymore because frankly aren't going to push me towards the goal. They're going to put me away. And it's nothing on them. It's just the fact that we're at way, way different places in life. And the season of our friendship isn't the season for my goals. So you just separate things. That's something that's big.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, with every action or choice or thing, timing of sleep, hanging out with your boyfriend, hanging out with anyone, food choices, meal timings, does this make you the national champion? Does this make you a pro? Does this make you win?
Mm-hmm.
If the answer is no, if it takes you back, don't do it. So flipping the switch is a choice. People want to make it so complicated, but the only reason why they make it complicated is because they add stress to feeling sorry for themselves because life is so hard. There's so much going on. My busy work schedule, XYZ. You will always have a busy work schedule. You will always have life. Your car will always break out throughout the year. Things will always happen.
Mm-hmm.
Don't allow it to pull from your mental energy towards your prep.
Yes. I just thought of something funny because I don't know why, but when you're like, oh, your car will always break. And then I was thinking like, oh, last week, like Murphy like shit his crate because he was sick.
Aw, poor babes.
And it's like, those things always happen. Like I could have easily been like, well, damn it. Now I have to spend an hour cleaning the crate and taking him to the vet and blah, blah, blah. Like you have a choice, like you're saying. The flip of the switch is like, it's not really like a literal switch. It's just like you have the choice to have your mentality serve you where it's like, oh no, like my dog is sick. Let me take care of him and shuffle things around. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I'm still going to get my cardio. I'm still going to train. I'm still going to hit my meals. Like just because he's sick doesn't mean like I have to go get a smoothie to like drown my sorrows or whatever.
You know what I also want to add to
the mindset.
Yeah. So I obviously, I have Peyton, but I don't have like a dog personally. And so the closest thing I could do into that example is like a spouse or a boyfriend. A lot of newer athletes struggle with giving their spouse time and energy and their prep. Honestly, I would have a mature conversation with your spouse saying like, I want to give prep more of my energy, not that I'm going to give you less. Instead of us doing lazy time, sitting and doing nothing together, plan dates that don't have to be involved around food, plan intentional time together. So that can grow at the same time as your prep.
Yep. That's actually huge. Something that I know we've done, Zach and I, is like we'll go for walks or to not make it about food. We'll go do activities together that don't revolve around food. But sometimes like I want to take him out to a restaurant
and that's
like,
so
treat
fun.
him. Right. And like I can't eat, but I get enjoyment out of watching him eat and like buying his meal, you know? And those are things that you can do for your person, like you can do for your friends in prep. Like you don't always have to go on a date and both of you eat. Like y'all can go on a date and you can enjoy their company and chat with them and like have a water or a Diet Coke. And depending how far out you are, you could probably have a salad.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
There's different ways. So I love that. Like you can still put energy into the things that matter to you. But having the conversation is super important. Like Zach and I kind of have this understanding that when I'm 6 weeks out, that is like my tunnel vision because that's usually when it kicks in. That's usually when things are really hard and I'm prioritizing prep. So like we'll sit down. I'll be like, hey, I think I'm about 6 weeks out. Like I'm feeling low energy right now or I'm feeling pressured or obligated to like try and allocate time to you, but I would rather allocate it to prep. Is it okay if like in this 6 weeks, I give 100% of my effort to the prep and I'm still going to show up for you as much as I can, but it might feel as though I'm a little bit distant in some time, places, areas. And like we just have a conversation about it so that he understands.
I like that. The two biggest things with distance too is usually romantic distance and emotional distance, which are honestly the most mental taxing things to give as well. So it's not bad to be selfish. You should. I love that you said that.
Yeah, having those boundaries in place. And I think that's a big thing with your off-season versus prep mindset. Like the communication aspect has to be solid or those relationships are going to kind of falter. Like not that they'll fail, but your partner might not understand. Like they might not understand that you are literally giving all of your time, space, energy to this goal. and they might just feel a little bit neglected. So having that conversation and just communicating with them and continuing to communicate with them throughout the process, being like, yeah, today was really hard, or today I have lots of energy, like let's do something. Because you ride those waves during prep, there's like
for no reason.
Yeah, literally no like nothing will change, but all of a sudden you're like, wow, I feel great today.
Yeah.
Take advantage of that. Like you and your partner can go on a walk, or like not even go on a walk. You guys can go to the pool, or like go get snow cones or something, something fun and special, because, next week you might not have that high feeling. You might be like, damn, like I need to take some space.
You never.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I think as far as off-season and prep mindset as well, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on? Like
Not this episode, but next episode, y'all better be ready.
Hey, okay, cool.
We got good stuff
I love
coming.
it. Also, if y'all can't tell, we're in prep. We are.
They probably can't tell because my cheek's still there.
Nah, your face is getting lean.
I hope so.
I think the both of us, our energy is good, but it's like mellow. If that, like we're just very.
I feel like
peaceful.
I feel like we're attacking with the aggression of be on your stuff.
Be on your stuff. Yes. As we go through prep, I think it's gonna be really fun to keep podcasting. But just so y'all know, we are prepping.
And so a lot of our podcast episodes might be a little bit gun-ho. Not even like for me personally, just like my responses to athletes, like you're getting told the truth and you're not getting any like beat around the bush.
Mm-hmm. At this point in our journeys, I do feel like we are attracting athletes who align with that mentality, though.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed that shift. The athletes I'm onboarding now, they align that mindset.
And I'm done with I want motivation every day.
Oh my gosh,
Athlete.
wait.
I'm done.
Dude.
You can go to Karen on fucking, sorry, I guess we cuss all the time. You should go to Karen on Instagram who has load of motivation, how to get out of bed workouts. I'm going to teach you how to become a pro.
Well, yes, 100%. If you want daily motivation, that's not me.
Go to my Instagram.
Or Danielle. Yeah.
You can go
our
to my Instagram and see that's your motivation. It's just going to our Instagram page and everyone on Team M's Instagram page.
I was just thinking about our group chat, our staff group chat, and like Kelly. Shout out Kelly. She's an amazing coach. But it's just like, bruh. Some of the athletes just need to like turn that mentality around.
No, we are not going to text you every day that you need to be motivated, because not every day you need to be motivated. If you're motivated every day, then you wouldn't be doing the stuff that you're, like the hard stuff. People want to be challenged, and the second they're challenged, they scare off. But the issue is they don't understand that as a human, you want to be challenged. So allow that challenge to fuel you.
The obstacles that we come across are what are going to help us be stronger and come out better. And so just view prep the same way, like all the ups and downs, all the challenges. It's going to make you a better competitor.
What Noah said times 3.
All right, we are out of time, but thank you guys so much for listening, and we will catch you on the next podcast. Let us know if you have any questions, comments, anything at all.
Concerns.
Like, subscribe.
You don't
if you have any concerns,
come at us and we're coming back at you.
Yes, 100%.
We love it. We love y'all.
Yes.
Big stuff coming, by the way, so stay tuned. Like, big stuff. We got ideas grooming. One thing to know in prep, even though our energy kind of goes lower because it's going else. Well, it's just not that we're giving more to y'all. It's just like we just don't have as many carbs.
Yeah, I feel like my brain functions up and down, but this episode was good.
Yes, but listen, as we go through prep, Noah and I like go to this place of prosperity within ideas, and there is so much coming. So just be ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will catch you on the next episode of Becoming Relentless.
I hope y'all really enjoyed the podcast today, leaving it feeling more relentless than ever. But we have a few things that we would love to ask of you, so I'm going to give this over to Noah.
Thank you guys so much for listening. If you could, I know that this is your new favorite podcast. Please leave a 5-star rating and review. Leave any comments and questions below. And make sure that you're sharing across social media so that all of your friends get to listen to the greatest podcast on earth.
And if you have any questions about any topics that we talk about or anything at all, fitness, competing related, anything, we'll hit you back up, Instagram or in the podcast under if the comment box is there, then we will definitely answer your questions and help you out as best as we can.
Absolutely. So leave those 5-star reviews. Let us know, and we'll talk to y'all again soon.
Have a relentless day.
Bye.